Welcome to myrehaboffice.com, the intuitive and affordable electronic medical record documentation system for therapy professionals. My Rehab Office is entirely web-based and does not require any software downloads. It works on any computer with an internet connection, including PCs, Macs, and Linux-based computers, and it runs on both Firefox and Chrome web browsers. Our pricing is simple and affordable with a low, flat monthly fee per therapist, and we never charge any setup fees. All upgrades are free, and electronic document uploads, to upload scanned pictures and documents, are included in that price. Please visit our website at myrehaboffice.com for pricing details. My Rehab Office can organize, streamline, and improve your documentation while creating a completely paperless documentation system. In this video, I'll give you a brief overview of some of the functionality of My Rehab Office for the therapist. This is the My Rehab Office homepage. Therapists and administrators can log in using their email and a password. Since the administrator is often also a therapist, we designed the program so that the administrator can easily switch back and forth between admin and therapist functionalities without having to log in and out. Let's start with the therapist side of things. This is the therapist welcome screen. My Rehab Office utilizes HTTPS web encryption, the same as banking websites, to ensure that your online data stays secure. When the therapist logs in, they will immediately see a list of reminders for any upcoming recertifications that they may need to complete, as well as a list of which plan of care or recertification forms are still awaiting physician signatures. This ensures that your practice's documentation is timely and up-to-date. The left side menu gives therapists quick access to all major functions and allows them to navigate the site quickly. You will notice that we incorporated a mailbox feature to offer internal, secure messaging between staff. This form of communication is more secure than general email, since we use data encryption to ensure that your data and communications will remain secure. To create a new patient, the therapist would normally start with the top menu button, Create New Patient Folder. In order to show you some sample data, we'll start with a patient that is already in the system. My Rehab Office is HIPAA compliant. This is demonstrated in part by allowing therapists to view only their assigned caseloads. Multiple therapists, occupational therapists, and PT assistants can be assigned to a single patient as appropriate. To enter a current patient's treatment record, simply click on the Edit button next to that patient's name. This is the patient data screen. You can enter patient contact information and assign one or more physicians. You can also easily add a new physician to the database. The Patient Documents tab allows you to upload patient files in many common formats, including pictures and PDFs, among others. You can also view those files directly on this page. Signed forms and communications from the physician can be stored here for easy access. Next is the patient evaluation. This form represents the plan of care that can be sent to the physician or elsewhere. Some unique features include searchable drop-down lists of treatment and medical diagnoses. You can search by either the description or the code number. Codes are also color-coded according to Medicare's current automatic exclusion policy for the Medicare caps. Yellow means that at least 2 codes are required to be excluded from the cap, and green means only 1 is needed. You can set your treatment duration and frequency, and the program automatically calculates the calendar dates and will automatically remind you before the next recertification is due. After you save the form, you will have the option to print the form. You can also fax the form directly from the internet to a fax machine using the physician contact information that you already entered in the patient data screen. I will show that. Here I'll choose a physician and we can preview the fax. This is the cover sheet that will be included with all your faxes, and you can customize your logo on all the forms that are printed out. And this is the professional format that your forms will show for the plan of care. Next, we will be looking at the objective data screen, which allows the therapist to enter measurements and other information gathered from the evaluation. This area is highly flexible and can be used for many different practice specialties and patient groups. Next, we will take a look at the Daily Notes screen. In order to ensure completeness of documentation, the therapist must complete each tab sequentially before being allowed to progress to the next. For example, the therapist must complete the evaluation before entering the objective data and before entering the daily notes. You do not need to upload anything in the patient documents if you choose not to. Here we can see a list of all the previous patient treatment visits and whether or not the patient attended them. To enter a new daily note, we simply click here. In the daily note, therapists first enter their billing charges. The program automatically calculates treatment units and compares individual charges with overall treatment time to ensure proper billing and to avoid over or under billing according to Medicare's 8-minute rule. We also have these drop-down calendars which automatically indicate today's treatment date. You can enter a reason if the patient did miss, and you can enter the sign in and sign out time. Notice how the total minutes are calculated, and this is how many minutes I have left to bill for. I can choose from a full list of CPT codes. And it automatically fills in the rest of the minutes. I can modify this if I choose to, and it shows me that I still have 15 minutes left to bill for. The rest of the daily note is in SOAP format. You will notice that the objective and plan portions carry over from the previous note. By setting up your treatment list, you can save time by quickly entering any current treatment modifications instead of retyping everything. All forms are digitally signed and stamped with a therapist's name, credentials, and a timestamp. By including billing with the documentation, you can be assured that the therapist will take the time to record the treatment as well as bill. The recertification and discharge screens allow the therapist to communicate changes in the plan of care to the physician. Here we can see an overview of all the previous recertifications that have been completed for this patient, with the certification period, start date and end date, and the overall assessment for how the treatment should continue. To view this, we'll simply click on Edit. Attended visits are automatically calculated. Therapists are able to document the status of each short and long-term goal, mark the goals as met, remove goals, and add new goals as needed. Any unmet goals are automatically carried forward to the next recertification or discharge. Changes in treatment duration are recorded in the program, and automatic reminders are set up to remind you when the next recertification is due. You can also print or fax these forms directly from the website. There is no additional charge for this online fax capability. Here we see the little checkbox for meeting a goal. You can fill in whether the goal is met or not, and you can add a new goal right there. I will save this, and then we can view what the print layout would look like. Also note that you can customize your logo as well as your phone numbers and your fax numbers and all that, so the physicians know where to reply to. Finally, in the patient file is the discharge form. Here is the layout for the discharge form. It's very similar to the recertification. You can also print and fax this directly from the internet. When a patient has a discharge form completed, that patient will automatically be sent to my discharge patients and taken off of the current caseload. However, any patient charge or any patient chart that is modified will show up on the administrative billing log so that the administrator can tell if any prior records have been modified at any time. And finally, the reminders section of the patient chart, where the therapist can see any specific reminders for that patient. But as I mentioned earlier, the administrator also has control over these reminders so that everything can be, the administrator can make sure that everything is up to date. Finally, the therapist may view their account information under the My Profile tab. They can also change their password here. Thank you very much for viewing this brief overview of the therapist functionality included in My Rehab Office. To learn more about administrative and other functionalities, please view the other tutorial videos or contact us through our website. We welcome you to learn more firsthand with our free 3-month demo. Thank you again for your time.